The older we get, the more we realize that sleep is not only about closing our eyes and drifting away. It becomes a mirror of how gently we treat ourselves throughout the day. In youth, we could stay up late, wake early, and still carry on with energy. But as the years pass, the rhythm changes. Nights may feel broken, mornings may arrive too soon, and afternoons can feel heavy with drowsiness. That can be unsettling, can't it? You might even wonder if you're doing something wrong. The truth is, you're not. Your body is simply speaking a new language, one that deserves patience rather than frustration. Aging doesn't take away our ability to rest, it simply asks us to rest differently. Think of it this way. In your 30s or 40s, sleep was like a strong river that carried you without effort. By your 70s, it becomes more like a gentle stream. You can still float, you can still move forward, but you may need to pay closer attention to the flow. That's not a failure, it's a lesson in awareness. Some people fight this change, forcing themselves into habits that no longer fit. Others surrender with kindness, noticing that even shorter or lighter sleep has its gifts. Where do you find yourself in this? Do you lie awake frustrated? Or do you take those moments of wakefulness as quiet time, a chance to listen inward? There is no right answer, only the one that feels softer to your heart. What matters most is realizing that you're not alone in this experience. Many people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond discover that their relationship with sleep transforms, just like their relationship with food, energy, and even conversation. The body that carried you through decades has earned the right to change its pace. Instead of resisting, you can learn to walk alongside it. Perhaps the real invitation here is not to chase the sleep you once had, but to welcome the rest you are capable of now. When you do that, frustration slowly loosens its grip, and in its place arrives something gentler, acceptance. And acceptance, believe it or not, often invites deeper rest. I'd love to know, as you reflect on these words, where are you reading this from? Share your location in the comments because there's something comforting about seeing how far and wide this circle of wisdom stretches across the world. One of the simplest yet most powerful changes you can make for your nights is to let go of the afternoon nap. I know, that might sound difficult at first. After all, when your body feels heavy after lunch, resting your eyes for a while feels so natural, almost necessary. And yet what many people don't realize is that those small naps often steal from the deeper rest your body is craving at night. Think of Margaret, 78, from Florida. For years, she kept her routine, a light lunch followed by a cozy nap in her armchair. It seemed harmless, but nights became long and restless. She would wake at 2 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. Her days grew groggy, her evenings anxious. Then, gently, she began experimenting. Instead of lying down, she would take a 10-minute walk in her garden, or simply sit by the window, looking at the trees and listening to the breeze. At first, it felt strange. She missed her nap. But slowly, her nights began to shift. Within a few weeks, she was sleeping 6, sometimes even 7 hours straight. The heaviness lifted, her mood brightened, and she discovered that her body could restore itself more fully in the quiet of the night. This isn't to say that you must deny yourself rest. Quite the opposite. Rest is sacred. But there's a difference between rest that restores and rest that disrupts. When you nap, your body loses the natural sleep pressure that builds throughout the day, the gentle weight that helps you fall into deeper sleep at night. By skipping the nap, you allow this pressure to do its work. You may feel a bit more tired in the evening, but that tiredness is what guides you into a fuller, calmer night's rest. If the idea of giving up naps feels too abrupt, start small. Instead of an hour, try cutting back to 20 minutes. Then slowly replace that nap with something else. A short stroll, a few stretches, or even quiet breathing by an open window. Sometimes just stepping outside and letting sunlight touch your face is enough to refresh the mind without stealing from the night ahead. And remember, you're not forcing yourself. You're simply shifting where your rest belongs. Be gentle with yourself in this process. Change doesn't happen in a day, and it doesn't need to. It's about experimenting, noticing how your body responds, and choosing what feels kindest. You might ask yourself, do I really feel better after this nap, or do I feel foggy and restless later? Does avoiding the nap help me sleep more deeply at night? These questions aren't tests, they're invitations to listen. If you find these reflections meaningful, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay connected with these gentle reminders. There's something deeply supportive about having guidance arrive right when you need it most. You might be wondering why such a small thing as skipping a nap can change your nights so profoundly. The answer lies in the way your body's inner clock, the circadian rhythm, works as you age. When you were younger, your body produced melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep, in a steady and strong rhythm. It rose naturally in the evening, making you drowsy, and faded in the morning, helping you wake. But over time, that rhythm shifts. Melatonin is produced in smaller amounts, and sometimes it rises earlier in the evening or fades too soon. This is why you may find yourself tired at 7 or 8 o'clock, then wide awake at 2 in the morning. It's not because you've failed at sleep, it's because your body is adjusting to a new chapter of life. Sleep pressure, another important process, also changes. All day long, tiny chemical signals build up in the brain, creating a gentle weight that eventually pulls you toward rest. Napping releases some of that pressure too soon, leaving your brain without enough of that natural push to keep you sleeping through the night. This is why even short naps can leave you lying awake in the dark, wondering what went wrong. There's a common myth that older people simply need less sleep, but that isn't entirely true. Most older adults still need around 7 hours. What changes is not the need, but the way sleep arrives, more fragile, more fragmented. If you've ever told yourself, maybe I just don't need as much rest anymore, consider instead that your body is asking for a gentler environment to give you what you still require. Let yourself question this for a moment. Do you really feel fully restored on just 4 or 5 hours? Or have you simply gotten used to carrying fatigue as if it were normal? Do you find that waking at the same hour every night has become a pattern, almost like your body is running on its own timetable? These are not accusations, only invitations to notice. What if the problem isn't that you need less sleep, but that your body needs more support in keeping it steady? Understanding this can soften the frustration. Instead of blaming yourself for a restless night, you can see it as a signal, a message from your own biology. The mind rests easier when it knows there is a reason, a cause that makes sense. And with that awareness, change feels possible, not forced. If daytime choices shape the night, then the hours before bed are like the brushstrokes that color the canvas of your sleep. The way you move, what you see, how you prepare your mind and body, all of it sends signals that whisper to your nervous system. It is safe now. It is time to rest. Many people underestimate the power of ritual, but ritual is simply repetition with meaning. When repeated with gentleness, even the smallest gestures can teach your body how to let go. One of the most helpful ways to begin is with light. About 2 hours before you intend to sleep, soften the brightness around you. Turn off harsh overhead lamps, switch to a warm table light, or even let a single lamp glow in the corner. Your eyes, and your brain behind them, will recognize this as evening's call. In a world that is always lit, sometimes the simplest act of dimming becomes a profound message to your biology. The day is closing. After light, pay attention to the mood you create. Some people fill their evenings with news, loud television, or long phone calls that stir emotions. Ask yourself, does this soothe me, or does it keep my mind spinning? If it is the latter, consider replacing it with something quieter. Soft music, gentle conversation, or even silence. The absence of noise can be a balm. As bedtime nears, choose a small practice that calms your body. It might be a warm shower, not too hot, but enough to release the tension in your shoulders. It might be a simple cup of herbal tea, something mild like chamomile, sipped slowly with intention. Or it might be writing a few lines in a notebook, allowing stray thoughts to leave your mind and settle on paper instead. Movement can help too. Not the strenuous kind, but the kind that teaches your muscles to soften. Stretch your arms upward, roll your shoulders gently, let your breath deepen. Even 5 minutes of slow breathing with your hand resting lightly on your chest can tell your body it is time to drift. Lastly, consider the space you enter. A cool, quiet room supports rest more than one that is warm or cluttered. Ask yourself if your bedroom feels like a retreat or like an extension of the busy day. Perhaps placing a book on the nightstand or folding the blanket neatly can transform the atmosphere. These steps are not rules to follow rigidly, they are invitations. Try one tonight, another tomorrow, and notice what feels right for you. What matters most is not perfection, but consistency. Every repeated gesture becomes an anchor, holding you steady as you cross the threshold into sleep. And here's the most beautiful truth. Rest in later years is not about chasing perfect sleep, but about finding peace with the way your body moves through the night. You may not sleep like you once did, and that's not a flaw. It's a shift, a new season of life asking for gentleness rather than control. Sleep becomes less of a battle and more of a companion when you stop demanding it to look a certain way. What if you allowed wakefulness at night to be less of an enemy and more of a quiet teacher? Sometimes the stillness between midnight and dawn offers space for reflection, gratitude, or even prayer. You might discover that those moments, rather than being wasted, carry their own kind of nourishment. When you think of sleep as wisdom instead of a problem, the weight on your shoulders lightens. That doesn't mean giving up on better nights, it means approaching them with softness. By letting go of the afternoon nap, by building simple rituals in the evening, you gently prepare the ground where rest can grow. Some nights will still be restless. That is the truth of being human, at any age. But over time, you'll notice more ease, more nights that carry you quietly until morning. Ask yourself this: what if the goal isn't to sleep like you did at 30, but to honor the body you have at 70 or 80? What if better sleep is less about control and more about trust? These are questions worth holding, not rushing to answer. They allow you to lean into patience, to treat yourself with the same tenderness you might show a child learning to rest. And in that tenderness, your nights will slowly soften. If these reflections resonate with you, I invite you to stay close to this circle of wisdom. Subscribe so these gentle reminders can continue to walk beside you. And before you go, share with me in the comments, what is one small change you'd like to make tonight to welcome a kinder, more restful sleep?